start this, the little box pops up on your screen. So I apologize for that, but you got to click got it, clear that out of your way, and then make your way back to your seated position. So it's actually a good little test. What do you remember from what I just described? Pelvis, spine, suspension, and then relaxing being a dilation, a plumping, a softening. Now, breathing, something we often overlook. Let's put our attention on the breathing. Your next inhale, bring it into as full as you can so that you get that expansion, that opening. And then when you're ready, either out the nose or the mouth, let that breath out and even kind of squeeze the breath out, sort of pushing the breath out. Hold it out for a moment. And then when you're ready, open those valves and pulling the breath in. That's nourishing, that's bringing life force in. And then there's an exchange that happens inside where the oxygen, CO2 gets exchanged, and then exhale. And they say with the exhale, we get rid of what should go out, and we also help flush through that which we just brought in. And then again, inhale. Holding. And then exhale. Let's do this maybe 5, 6 times. Feel the body softening and relaxing, yet notice that you don't necessarily lose uprightness. In fact, when you relax, you kind of find a buoyancy, especially after you practice this type of work regularly. You find that when you're relaxed, you feel lighter, you feel freer to move. This idea that it's an addition by subtraction. We're subtracting something that's present, sort of habitual grip that we're releasing and letting flow state occur. Now, keeping that soft, relaxed quality, let's do our movements. Slide hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back. Lift your head, look up. And then slide the hands forward past your knees. Hollow the chest back, rounding your back. Drop the head, the chin towards the chest. And then do that again. Slide the hands back. Spinal extension, opening this whole front side. And then spinal flexion, closing the front side, opening the back side. 2 more. Inhale, hands slide back. Lift and look up. And forward with the hands. So we want to feel each of those 24 vertebrae getting a little bit of movement. Remember how I described there's a deep chassis. There's a chassis of musculature deep in the body that often is not under our volitional control. And as we relax the outer body and then move more in this liquid state, we're basically awakening and opening up this deep layer, which is where the best precise control of our body occurs. Last time, rounding. And then let's find neutral. Find that middle. Now stay again. Pillar, relaxed and loose. Rotation, left hand forward, right hand back, turn the shoulders, turn the head, and then switch. Turning, right hand forward, left hand and elbow back, turn and look over the shoulder. Stay soft, stay relaxed, switch sides again, rotate, stay soft, turn and rotate. How far you rotate is not as important as this soft quality. So just go to that edge that you can do in this Tai Chi state of soft, supple, relaxed, easy. One more each side. Those of you that have been doing it a while, really pay attention to the transition, this polishing of the movement space between the endpoints. And then let's smoothly come back to middle. From the middle, hang the arms. Shift the weight a little more to the your right buttock, and then just softly lean the spine just a bit. Let the head fall just a little bit that way. And then back to the middle, and then shift the weight to the other buttock and just softly lean. Kind of fall this way, right? We're so afraid of falling, which again, that's a rational fear, but we don't want to be stiff and rigid in response to the threat of potential falling. Because what that does, if I stiffen up and I'm afraid, it actually makes me more like a top-heavy item that'll fall, versus when I relax, I actually find, oh, I keep my middle even if I'm totally leaning this way. And I can come all the way across and totally lean this way. So we're buying interior real estate, where we keep a center, a middle stability, and yet the outer body is free and loose. Now, from here, shoulder blades are on our back, scapula, shrug up, slide down, up, down. Notice as you do that, that your arm bones come along for the ride, but you don't have to do anything with your arms. You don't have to lift them in any way. If you just slide your shoulder blades up and you just slide your shoulder blades down, the arms are moving, and we want to keep that quality in the arms. Now, the other movement of the shoulder blade, like elevator doors closing, and then they come back to neutral, and then they even go further. This is called protraction, where they slide away and somewhat around towards the front. And there's this little closing space here. And then neutral, they just hang out, and then slide back, squeeze them back together. This opens this space. Then relax that effort. They hang out in neutral, and then we protract. Again, that sliding apart, and then neutral. One more of each. Back, neutral, forward. Now, from this forward position, up, over the top, and back to the squeezed position, and then slide them down the back, underneath, forward, up, over top, back, down, under, spread them apart, lift, up over top and back, down, once more. Reverse, back, stay back as you lift up, stay up as you spread the shoulder blades apart. And again, like I was saying, the arms are along for the ride. So if I take my shoulder blades back, my arms kind of come back, but they just do it naturally. As I go up, they lift up a little. As I take the shoulder blades, the arms have to migrate. They have to go along for the ride. And then as I drop the shoulder blades, the arms drop down. Let's do that twice more. Back, up over top, forward, melt down, back, up over top, forward, melt down. All right. Now, bend your elbows, bring your hands up, and again, keep your hands relaxed. Elbows out and up. So this is where you just test. You might go here, you might go here, you might go here, you might even find all the way up here freedom over time. And then elbows down. And then elbows around in front. See if you can get them close to touching or even squeezing together. And then down. Every time we go down, we're relaxing whatever effort is in the muscle. And then we stay as relaxed as possible. So remember this floating, buoyant quality that we want to find with Tai Chi and Qigong. And then bring together. The idea in some way, a way of thinking about it is that we are in a sort of closed system inside our bodies, and it can be a hydraulic system, a liquid-based system that when we're relaxed, we can just slide things around. We're almost like up and down and gravity doesn't exist inside of this system. So it's not like I gotta work really hard to get my elbows up, when really all I'm doing is just sliding around these parts inside of this liquid system. Now, elbows back, straight back, elbows down, forward, and then this might be as far as you can go, or over time you free up this room where you can come up and the hands go down your back. Elbows forward, down, back, down, forward, and just as far up as feels okay to your body. But just this is a range of motion the body has potentially, and you want to keep it open as best you can. One more. Now, from here, elbows go flared out to the side, palms face the floor, left hand above, right hand below, cross, and give yourself a hug with your hands. Try to crawl the hands around. Let's just hold this hug position and feel this closing in the front, opening in the back. And then here, as you relax that and float your elbows straight out to the left and right, open the front, but don't close the back. Keep the back open. Then right hand above, left hand below, cross, hug, all the hands a little further, close the front, opening the back, and then elbows out, open the front, the back stays open. One more of each, now we'll just flow. Wrap and open. Close, open, down, release, loose. So just swinging the arms very gently, but see where my hand is touching here. This space is where the movement can occur, rather than how we usually think about it is where this arm bone meets the socket. So we're kind of thinking about swinging the arm in that socket, rather than it's the blade and the arm and all of it together, but really it's this space here where that freedom of movement is found. So just in that little space, and see if you can swing both, letting the arms go a little behind, a little in front, a little behind, a little in front, loose as can be. All right, now scoot back on your chair. Let's just get our legs tuned up. Lift the right knee and pull the heel in, and then push like you're pushing something away. Reload, and then set that foot down. Other side. Load, push, load, down. Switch. Load, push, reload, down, switch. One more. And straighten your right leg, point, flex, point, flex. So we want a loose relationship between our joints and tissue rather than a gripped relationship. Now invert, tilt the foot in, tilt out, tilt in, tilt out, in, out, in. And then circle that foot, circle, circle. Reverse, circle. Set that foot down, switch legs, foot range of motion. First, it's point, flex, point, flex. Invert, tilt, evert, tilt, 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 tilt. Notice my leg isn't moving, my foot is moving. Then circle, around. Reverse the circle, around. And down. Scoot again to the front edge of your chair. So you're back to that upright position. Step your legs a little bit wider than hip distance so you have a little extra space here. Lift both toes up so it's only the heels on the ground. Turn on the heels, toes out, knees out, opening this groin area. Then lift the toes, turn all the way in. So we're now pinching closed, sealing closed this groin area. Internal rotation. Open, external, internal. External and internal. So this space is they emphasize the importance of open, spacious, they call it the quad, either side here of the groin, so that whether it's the legs moving or it's the pelvis moving, either way, we want it open and free for movement. Now let's move the pelvis and not the legs. Fold. Sit upright. Tip back. So notice that I'm not rounding my spine and arching my spine like we were doing earlier. All I'm doing is folding at that hip crease, right at that quad, and then sitting upright. So this is kind of the power center of the body that we, again, if we were relaxed, we have that space open, we can really make some important functional movements happen. Now, let's put that all together. Slide your feet back a little bit. Arms are loose and hanging, just like we worked to get them. Fold at the hips. Now, let your body weight pour out of your chair, down to the earth through your legs, and then push through the legs and feel that launching up that comes from down, from rooting down. And then when we're sitting, we stay down through the legs, the butt goes back. We sink, 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 sink until the butt hits the chair, and then we commit our body weight to the chair. But the important thing is a lot of times when people are trying to stand up, they're trying to force it, right? Trying to stand up with this oomph, as opposed to watch how little effort I need. If I fold enough, I stand up with really not using oomph, what they call clumsy tension-based strength. I'm using sung, same thing on the way down. I'm just folding at this hip crease and then sitting. So now we're manipulating our body, but not with tension. This is Tai Chi. This is what Tai Chi's talking about. It's saying, hey, look how you can use liquid power, fluid power, soft power. One more. And now let's pretend you dropped your glasses, or you dropped a pen, or something is on the ground. How do we get our hands down to the ground? Same way. We disappear the hips back. We use that open quad, that open back, and we sink, 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 sink. Get the hands down near the toes, near the floor. And then you got that thing in your hand and you just push through the earth and you come back to standing. So this is both functional at getting something off the floor, but it's also an incredible healing gesture for the body. The body wants to get washed. We're sort of taking our body and compressing and then lengthening. And we're going to do this a few times. Make sure you stay soft. Hips disappear back, sink. Let everything kind of fold. You're closing the front, but feel how the back is opening. And then push through the earth and stand back up all the way tall, staying relaxed. And again, disappear hips back, this little fold. And we sink. And 2 more. Just nice and relaxed. Folding. Some of you might feel like you can only get to about here, maybe a little lower, maybe a little higher, whatever's fine. But over time, you want to just open those pathways and polish out that restriction. Now, stay standing. Find your Tai Chi standing meditation position. What that is we don't want to be locking our knees back. We want to keep a little softness in the knees. So we also don't want to be bending the knees really forcibly. We just want soft. So to find that, lock both knees back. Feel what that's like to press back to through the knee joint. And then just unlock. Find that unlocked position. And then with the unlocked knees, note that you can allow your tail to sink a little bit down. So let's just do this little Tai Chi squat. It's kind of subtle, but we're just sinking the tail down, allowing that slight bowing of the legs, the power of the legs sort of toning and then straightening up, but don't go all the way to lock. So sink down, feel the legs like a bed spring, gently compress. There's some power in the legs, and then you just straighten and let the legs come up. And notice how that's different than a bigger squat where we stick our butt back and really go for it. This little Tai Chi squat is very subtle, but it's really powerful and functionally powerful. Now, sink down and stay in that little light Tai Chi squat. Arms loose, light. Now, arms forward and up, hands forward and up. So maybe you stop here, maybe here, maybe here, maybe here. Not much higher than shoulder height. Then let the hands flow over. So both hands find this position down. And a slight bit behind you. Again, as if painting a wall in front. And down. Resist the habit of adding a whole bunch of tension to make this happen. Can you keep it very soft? Almost like you're levitating the limb. The way the Tai Chi classic literature talks about it, they say the mind mobilizes the chi mobilizes the body, but we have to be relaxed in order to feel that sort of floating buoyancy. One more, rising hand. Now, as you sink down, bring the hands to low cradle, this little cradled position, open. Same idea, just use that buoyancy, only go as high as you can. Now hold here for just a moment and make sure you feel this opening in this space. That's as opposed to shortening the muscles to try to get your arm up. Instead, it's that opening of that valve, opening of that space that allows this freedom. The shoulder is loose, right? You see how loose my arm is, and yet it's up in space. And then just let that space close as the hands come down and in front. Open. And again, you might just open to here or here or here, maybe here, and then you let the hands do that little change. Then we sweep down under into the low cradle. Open. Let it flow all the way to the tips of the fingers, and then it washes back. Last one. Open. Now, wings open the same way at the top here. Turn your palms face up and just notice a soft bend at the elbow joint on each side. The hands will just fall right into this space and then let them fall down, all the way down, and completely release the arms. Let them just be super duper loose. And then from these two gates here, just open, levitating your limbs. Rotate so the palms face up. Soft arms, it's easy to bend at the elbow joint. And the hands just fall right down through that space. Totally relinquish the arms, let them totally relax. Can you do this next one with even less tension in the body? So it's even more this buoyancy, this fluid body, this liquid hydraulic movement. It's called sink chi to belly. Again, wing, opening, and then all that interior real estate makes it easy to just manipulate the body. We're not fighting against our own tension, our own joints. We're just sort of bypassing everything. Now, the opposite of this one, or the complementary movement, bring the backs of the hands close to each other. We sort of close right in front, and then stay close to the body with the hands as you come up this space. And then from here, out. It's called up and out. And then saw down like they were the wings. And as they start coming close to each other, internally rotate, and then find that space up through the middle, and then out. Soft, loose, relax. Two more. Closing, raising up, and then just following that fluid path out. Soft. One more. Close. Raise up. Out over top. Now embracing the moon is one of each. So go to the wings. Now right hand, turn palm up and over as the other hand sweeps down like a wing. Then we're at the top of a ball, bottom of a ball. They come towards each other, away from each other. And now the right hand does the up and out. Left hand does a wing. And then left hand, turn palm up, comes over top, right hand under, top and bottom. Meet in the middle, top and bottom, out to the wings. Now see if you can just flow that. Stay relaxed, stay soft. Try not to cut corners. That's usually what happens. We start thinking in terms of the ends, the destination, and we rush instead of go the whole route. Again, keep it within a range of motion that suits any injuries, like we were talking at the beginning, but still be exploring. And this is sort of a rich experience for the brain, for the nervous system, to be very broad and expansive, round. Last one. And both arms come down. Scooped position, come up. Turn the palms over, down. Scoop position, up. And just kind of pumping through the body. Let's add that Tai Chi squat to this. So as you come up, straightening the legs, straightening the body. As you come down, it's just that soft Tai Chi squat where you let everything settle through. The knees are a little bent, the tail's a little down. Everything's sort of straightened up high, yet we still feel grounded, and then settling, sinking. Soft. Let's do one more. Rise. Sink. Keep that soft quality. Now bring hands up, then elbows back a little bit. Turn your palms forward. Push all the way forward. So push, 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 push all the way to the end. Stay long through the limbs. Turn your arms, or turn your hands around so they face the body, and then this draw, this receiving in. Elbows a little bit back behind you. And again, push. Turn the hands, draw. Turn the hands, push, draw. One more, push, draw. Now turn the left hand, push the left, the right hand stays where it is. Now change the hands. So left hand's facing the body, right hand's ready to push, and then one push, one draw. It's called repel the monkey. Turn the hands, one push, one draw. Turn the hands simultaneously if you can. And the value of slow is the slower I can turn these hands and still be paying attention and sequencing them, the heavier the work is, the burden, the load on my neural connection. If I just go like that really quickly, it's kind of sloppy, but if I can and then slow and smooth, this really lights up the brain-body network, what they call the neuromuscular junctions. So by keeping a relaxed body and then doing these sort of interesting movements, we're lighting up right where, especially with Parkinson's, that's right where the attack is, where you're under attack at some level, is that nervous system, brain, body connection. Now, both hands back, both hands down. Now, legs, keep everything loose and relaxed. From your middle, from this belly button, lower back, middle level, just change your weight over to your right leg. Now, notice as you go into one leg, commonly, as you go over there, you'll lock your knee back or you'll push into the hip somehow. Try to remember the Tai Chi leg. So as you go over there, let there be that little soft kind of bend, and then go back to the middle and then over to the other side where you allow that little soft bend quality, right? And then change. Now notice, if I move from my middle like I'm doing, my central pillar does not lean and lean and lean. It's when we're stuck here that I see in a lot of people when they go over, they lean this way because they're kind of afraid to move this middle. And so then there's all this up here rocking the boat instead of keeping this internal stability and vertical alignment and yet change leg to leg. So now this is very powerful if you can have one empty, one full, and then the other empty, the other full. With this vertical and with this relaxed body, now we're really starting to do our Tai Chi. Now, from that same middle pivot, not only moving laterally, but now rotationally. So as you go into your right leg, stay in the right leg and turn a little bit, just a few degrees, turn so that your belly button is pointing to this right corner. Now keep it pointed to that corner as you go into your left leg. This is usually hard for people to change leg without turning. Now turn. So stay in your left leg as you turn. Now stay turned to the left as you shift to your right leg. Then turn. Stay turned to the right as you start changing leg, and then turn from your middle. Stay turned to the left as you change to the right leg and turn. So you can see with my movement, what am I adding? So what I'm adding now is I'm letting that buoyancy express through the hands. That loose quality. This is called the bear washing paws in the stream. Make sure you're changing leg, one full, one empty, and then the other full, the other empty. Pay a little more attention to the hands so that this hand is facing this particular way, and then this hand facing this particular way. And that then allows you to rotate and switch. This is called brush knee, This is sweep the leg. And then they switch. Shift leg, turn from your middle pivot, then allow that freedom of movement all the way to the fingertips. And then shift and turn and brush and sweep. And shift leg, turn from the middle, brush knee, sweep. One more. Shift and turn and brush and sweep. Now let's all be where you're in your right leg, your hands are over here, your left hand is ready for a brush knee. Now this hand, let it float away from the body. Notice I didn't bring it up, away. So now if I turn sideways, you'll see there's this relationship. This is called swirl the stream. And then we go to the other side. So basically each arm by itself is doing this, making this circle in front, but they're just off rhythm with each other so that while one is close to the body, the other is far away. And then that one comes in close as the other goes far away. Now, while you keep doing that, pay attention to this lumbar section. Keep that Ming Men or gate of life, keep it sort of stable and back, even as you reach those arms long. So when the arm goes out, keep your middle where it is. Not meaning it doesn't move, just saying you don't let it get full. It's floating in the middle. Now the bear washing paws. So now that swirl hand comes up a little bit, about chest height. So now the bottom hand brush knee, top hand comes across chest height, and then it has all this room to fall down as the other floats up. And then we change leg, turn from the middle, brush knee on the bottom, swap the fish at the top. And then that left hand drops, right hand rises. And then we're shifting and turning, brush knee and swap fish. And again, now pay attention to this palm. It's facing a particular way as it comes across, and that allows it to have this opportunity to roll over. As this rises up, it turns, brush knee, swap the fish, rolls over. So it's adding a spiral pivot to the movement. And then let's go the highest jumping fish. So now even as one arm is low, other arm just as high as you'd like to take it, like the fish is just jumping up a little bit out of your reach. Be able to track both low and high, these separate placements of your limbs, and yet feeling how they're connected through your middle pivot. And then wash your palms. Wash your palms. Now, stay in your right leg again. Left arm float up like a wing. I'm sorry, right arm. I said that wrong because this is my left, but you're right because I'll be your mirror. Now turn right palm up. Soft fold at the elbow, right? Remember this one that we did? So it's that exact movement. Now, shift into your left leg, turn from your middle pivot, bottom hand brush knee, this top hand push. Push across. Now, right hand drops into the water, left hand floats up, turn left palm up, and then from the elbow, just drop that hand over. So now we're ready. This leg has less weight in it. We got our middle intact. Now, like water flooding, shift and turn and brush knee and push. Let the limbs fully extend, and then they find their way into this ready position, sort of gathered. And then we shift and turn, and then we let those limbs extend. And then let them return, and then can we just flood right back. And flood right back. Soft. So in the beginning, it's choreography. It's trying to remember what are we doing. But when you get comfortable with the what we're doing, then you can start paying attention to these subtler layers of, is there anywhere that you're grabbing that you can let go? When you let go and the body is soft, you actually start moving more from the correct pivot points inside. So it becomes easier. Last one to each direction. This is called brush knee and push. Let it fully extend. Comes around, ready, and then brush knee, push. Now dropping that left hand, let's wash the palms, and come back to neutral. Now just the legs, soft bend to the knee and a little sink of the tail, right? So we've got that idea, the Tai Chi squat. Now shift the weight to your left leg, turn your right foot out 5 degrees. Shift over into that leg. So now it's turned out, but it still has that same little soft squat. Can you then get light in this left foot? Get up to your tippy toe. Possibly lift the foot. And then set that foot down and lift it again. So this is a good practice, the golden rooster practice of knee up, touch back down to the earth. So even if you just go a millimeter and then back down, that's great. Eventually you might get to where it's knee all the way up, down. The important thing for our back, right? Because I've heard some of you talk about the back. You can't let that happen in the back while doing this exercise, because then it jams. We have to have that thing I'm talking about, that open back. And then you can lift and lower, right? Lift and lower. Now, switch legs, bring your left foot back, heels touch, toes turn out, change the weight, get on the tippy toe, and then lift, lower, lift, lower. What we also don't want to see, right? You got this position. You don't want to be lift, lower, lift, lower. It's this finding of 100% that leg, lift, lower. Okay, now bring that foot back, heels touching, toes are turned out. Change the weight to your right leg. Place, have right hand just hovering down by the hip. Bend left elbow, pointing left fingertips up, and get on that tippy toe. So now, golden rooster, lift. Now as this foot comes down, place it ready to have the weight go into it. Now change your weight to the left leg, left hand comes down. As your right hand is coming up, just get a little lift. And then put that right foot down, change the weight, lift. Change the weight, lift. Change, lift. Change, lift. One more each way. Middle pivot intact. And back to middle. Shogun, wing, roll, come over top, settle down to this middle embrace. And then hands come down. Now have a brief sit on your chair, should be still right behind you there. Remember how to sit down, we fold, sink, hands together, rub, groin, that quad, then hip flexor, front of hip, come around, tailbone, sacrum, come up onto your lower back, the muscles on either side of the back, and then we sweep down the outside of the legs, fold, around the feet to the inside, come up the inside, past the groin to the belly button. Do it again. Groin, hip flexors, around to the sacrum and tail, up onto your lower back, and then clear the yang channels down the outside, backside of the legs, and then up the inside, front side to the navel. One more time. Sweep. Rest your hands on your thighs. 5 breaths. Do nothing at all before we have one more round of Tai Chi. Let the body settle. Let everything just be in a not doing state. Mind, the nervous system. And standing up. Slide your feet back. Fold. Remember, relax. Release your way through movement. Sliding and gliding. From your standing position, bear washing pause. Shift and turn. Shift and turn. Now, the hands play with clouds. As you shift to your right leg, turn to your right, sweep your left hand along the leg, let it turn to vapor and rise up. Now, this is a cloud in the sky. This hand is down in the lake. Shift to the left leg, turn from your middle pivot, and then let the cloud float across the sky and sweep across the lake. And then the lake vapors up, the cloud rains down, and we shift and turn. Cloud, lake, rain and vapor, cloud and lake. Remember to be changing leg to leg and turning from this middle pivot. Eventually, the change of leg and turn of that pivot happens somewhat simultaneous. So it's like a shift turn. But yet it still accomplishes empty and full. And then a shift turn. Vapor and rain. Shift and turn. Vapor and rain. Shift and turn. Now, pause here. This newer movement is a little more complicated. And it's not new to all of you. This bottom hand is going to go out and up. So let's just do that with the bottom hand a couple of times. It's called flying diagonal. Notice how my palm is facing up the whole way. Now the top hand does an opposing sort of complementary down and away. So it ends up down at the opposite corner from where it was. Now get to this holding ball again. Do them together. As they're doing that together, shift and turn into that left leg. Now here, turn your left palm out, right palm up. Remember, embrace the moon. One up, one down. Shift to the right leg, turn to the right. Right hand falls over top, left hand scoops under. And now, remember, we're doing flying diagonal plus down and away chop together while shifting and turning. This is called stroking the wild horse's mane. Beautiful name. Turn the left hand out, turn the right palm up, and then left hand down, right hand up, left hand under, right hand over, and then stroking wild horse's mane. Remember the same middle pivot, the same change of leg and turn is occurring, but we're just using that to execute a different expressive movement out through the upper body. Under. Now, from here, bring right hand down. Wash your paws over. Make the ball on this side. Now, flying diagonal, that particular movement. Again, just the arm. Notice we're not shifting and turning. We're just finding that path. Then this hand is sort of down and diagonally, and then back up and across. Now, together, as they stroke wild horse's mane, shift and turn. Now, have right palm facing up, left palm facing down. Now, switch the hand position. Turn, turn. Now, left hand up, right hand down. Shift and turn. Bring right hand under, left hand over. So you should be in your left leg. Turn slightly left, holding ball. And then remember, it's flying diagonal, down and away. Those together, passing right by each other as you shift and turn. Now turn palm, palm, embrace the moon. Sort of gathered, right? We're sort of winding in and then expressing out. There's something very satisfying to the joints and tissues and nervous system and brain, this expression of all the way gathered and sort of twisted up, and then this unleashing of that coiled potency. And then a return from that expressive position to a closed, gathered state. And then that releasing. So these movements are more than just the sum of their parts. They're an expression of a functional capacity inside the body that's usually stuck, that's closed off, that's frozen, you might say. And so these movements loosen that up, open it up. Now stay here, bring left hand across the bottom, right hand falls on top. Now we're going to switch sides each time to add to the brain challenge. So stroking wild horse's mane. Now you stay in your left leg, turn a little bit more from that middle, so you gather, right? That closing gathering, and then express to the other side. Now the right hand will stay up high, left hand low, gather, express. Stay to that side, gather, express. And we're not even adding the walking, right? We'd be walking and even turning in space, challenging the balance. So just noticing that this, what they call Tai Chi Tsao or Tai Chi calisthenics that we're doing is really medicinal, but there's further places it can go. Last one each way. So again, this closing, coiling, winding up, and then unwinding and expressing. Winding up. Now take left hand down, right hand turns, wash your paws. Wash your paws, and then we're just going to finish with that new thing we've been adding called Zhang Juan, which is different than Zhong Zheng, which means central upright. Zhang Juan means stand like a tree or be a tree. So float your arms like wings, turn the palms forward, and then wrap around like you're hugging this big tree. Okay, and we want a sort of opening quality along the back. We also want to keep the tail downish, that chin tucked, crown upish, so we're opening and opening. And we're just softly bending the knees like we did earlier, and we're holding the arms in space. So this adds a little bit of a challenge to our chi system. And then look for, see you later, look for anywhere that you are grabbing the body to hold it and just soften that out. If the arms are out here, let's say, and it's really achy, just bring them in somewhat or bring them down somewhat. Find this perfect amount of doing. And again, people would do this in a traditional setting for 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 2 hours. And not only would it polish out where they're holding on with the wrong kind of power, but eventually it becomes a heavy burden on your chi, on your life force. And so then it really creates this exuberant response in the body. There's been studies that you can stand like this, breathe long and smooth, but if you check your heart rate, the heart is really pump, 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 really getting up there in a good way. But yet we're not having to run around the block and put our knees at risk, back at risk, and all of that. So a couple more moments here. Zhang Juan, standing as if you are a tree. Let's add the cleansing breath. Tongue against the roof of the mouth, in the nose. Tongue drops down behind the 2 lower teeth, so the gums down there, out the mouth. Tongue against roof of mouth, in the nose. Open the mouth. In the nose. Soften the shoulders. Soften anywhere that you can. Hands out in front as much as they can be. An extended quality through the fingers, but not active, but also not drooped and forgotten. Awareness all the way to the tips of the fingers. Turn the palms down, soft descent. Wing, roll, fold, this closing, sealing the practice. Take one hand over belly, other hand over that hand. 5 breaths, totally relaxed. Taoist bow to close. This hand mudra, grabbing one thumb, folding, representing harmonizing yin and yang. Thank you, everybody. Find your seat. Make sure you know where it is before you try to sit down. Any questions or thoughts?